हेलो बच्चों, कैसे हैं आप सब। चलिए आज पुनः एक बार एक और वीडियो लेकर आपके सम्मुख उपस्थित हैं। वीडियो का नाम है हार्ट बीट एंड द पल्स रेट। हार्ट बीट एंड द पल्स रेट लेकर पुनः एक बार उपस्थित है। स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ हार्ट एंड वर्किंग ऑफ हार्ट की पूरी जानकारी, अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण जानकारी विगत 2 वीडियो में हम आपको दे चुके हैं। पहला वीडियो पार्ट 1 के रूप में है, दूसरा वीडियो पार्ट 2 के रूप में है। और यदि आपको संपूर्ण जानकारी चाहिए है तो आप उस वीडियो को देखना ना भूलें और इस वीडियो को भी अंत तक जरूर देखें और लाइक और सब्सक्राइब जरूर करें। तो चलते हैं, जानते हैं हार्ट बीट एंड पल्स रेट के प्रति। हार्ट, हमारा हार्ट जो है अति महत्वपूर्ण ऑर्गन है। इट्स वन ऑफ द वेरी वाइटल ऑर्गन इन अवर बॉडी एंड इट शोज द 2 टाइप ऑफ मूवमेंट, कॉन्ट्रैक्शन एंड रिलैक्सेशन। हमारा हार्ट जो है वो सिकुड़ता है और फैलता है। और आपको जानकर आश्चर्य होगा माय डियर स्टूडेंट, whenever our heart contract, that time full part of the, since from the each and every part of the body deoxygenated blood enter inside the our heart, and when our heart relax, that time oxygenated blood supplied each and every part of our body, and that's why it's one of the very amazing type of process. So let us have a look on that particular process. So question arises, what is mean by heartbeat? So heartbeat is nothing but what? It's a rhythmic contraction and relaxation. It's a rhythmic process of contraction and relaxation is called as the heartbeat. So rhythmic contraction and expansion of the heart is called the heartbeat. Our heart beats, contract as well as relax. That one process is called as the heartbeat. Now the contraction, whenever our heart contracts, that process is called as systole. When our heart contract, that process is called as systole, जिसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं सिकुड़ना. And when our heart expand means relax, that time that process is called as diastole and that is called as फैलना. जैसे फैल जाता है हार्ट, एक्सपांड होता है. So this contraction is called as systole and expansion is called as diastole, means फैलना. And because of this contraction and expansion means systole and diastole, our heart constitute the one heartbeat. One contraction and one relaxation makes one heartbeat. And you will surprise my dear student that complete cycle in our body, our heartbeats, normal heartbeat in human being is 72 per minute. 72 per minute. You are knowing within a 60 second how many minutes are there? Within a 60 second, 1 minute 60 seconds are there, and 1 minute our heart beat 72 times, means less than 1 second our heartbeat. If we calculate 60 divided by 72, then we will get 0.8 second. Means our one heartbeat is there. Our one heartbeat, one cardiac cycle is complete within a 0.8 second. And that cycle is called as cardiac cycle. So what is the cardiac cycle? Cardiac cycle is nothing but the sequence of events which takes place during the completion of one heartbeat is called contract, that is cardiac cycle. Means one contraction and one relaxation makes one cardiac cycle, and 0.8 seconds required for one cardiac cycle, and that's why it means that our heartbeat require 0.8 second for one beat. And this one beat, whenever one beat will be completed, that time what is happening? Just already I explained that superior vena cava collect the blood from the upper part of the body, pour it into right atrium. Then the inferior vena cava collect the blood from the lower part of the body, pour it into right atrium. Then through the right atrium, blood comes to the right ventricle. After the right ventricle, it goes into the lungs. Through the lungs, it again comes through the pulmonary vein. It comes to the left atrium. Then through the left atrium goes to left ventricle. Through the semilunar wall, again it's supplied to the each and every part of the body. This is the complete process is completed within a one heartbeat, and that's why this is the one of the very amazing type of process. Now question arises, what is mean by pulse? The pulse means what? The rhythmic contraction of the heart is felt in the certain areas of our body, just like a wrist. If we will touch here, we can get the pulse, and wrist, just like a wrist, in the form of pulsation, and this is the pulse. So what is that? The rhythmic contraction of the heart is felt in an area, and that is called as the pulse. called as pulse. Now, one complete cardiac cycle or the heartbeat constitutes the one systole and one diastole. Cardiac cycle require one systole and one diastole. Means one time it contract and one time is just relax. And that's why. Now, very important point is here. This in between the right atrium and right ventricle, one septum is there. That is called as auricular ventricular septum. On that particular auricular ventricular septum, one connective tissue, some connective tissues are there. That connective tissues are called as sinoatrial node. That connective tissues are called as sinoatrial node, or it is also called as sinoauricular node, or in short it is called as SA node. This SA node found on the wall of the right atrium. Here it is found on the wall of the right atrium. Now, what is the function of this SA node? Question arises, what is the function of the SA node? So what it will do when right atrium is responsible for what? It initiates the particular heartbeat. It generates the impulse. When this right atrium is completely filled, now it generates the impulse for the right ventricle, and right ventricle gets the impulse and it will be generating the impulse, and then the particular sinoauricular node is made up of the conductive tissue present at the right atrium, and it circulates what? It circulates the message from atrium to the ventricle, so it starts contraction, and that contraction is possible because of the sinoauricular node which is present on the right atrium. Now, this sinoauricular node generates pressure, and because of that the wall of the ventricle just closed and ventricle ready for the contraction. This is the very important fact completed by the sinoauricular node. Now, the first pressure generated here, the first pressure on the heart generated here at the SA node, and that's why it is also called as pacemaker, which can be repressible. आप लोगों ने सुना होगा कि हार्ट में मशीन बिठाई है, वो मशीन और कुछ नहीं बल्कि पेसमेकर होती है. So the first pressure generated at sinoauricular node, it is also called as the pacemaker, which will be repressible. Now, another point is there that this contraction and relaxation. This is the rhythmic contraction and relaxation is there, expansion is there, which occurs separately in the atrium and ventricle. Very surprising things are there. Just to see, this is the right atrium, this is the right ventricle, this is the left atrium, this is the left ventricle. But the contraction is happening, both the atria contract together and both the ventricle contract together. Means the contraction will be there together, right atrium and left atrium both contract together, and right ventricle and left ventricle both contract together, and that's why it was shown that two atria, that is contraction of two atria is immediately followed by the contraction of both the ventricle, and the beating of the heart circulate the blood in the human body. Whenever once our heart beat means contraction and relaxation, it will be act like a circulating organ, pumping organ, and that's why it circulates the blood in the human body. Now, very important point arises, that is the sound of the heart. Our heart has a certain sound. Which is that sound? So first one, first sound. First sound is there for the contraction. Contraction means systolic movement. So this is the contraction sound, that is called as systolic sound, which denotes the beginning of the ventricular contraction. It denotes the beginning of this ventricular contraction. When this ventricular contract, that time the sound arises, and that's why it is called systolic sound, and it is a weak sound and appear in the form of lub, L-U-B-B, lub. It is little bit long sound, lub, like that it is understood. And how it is arising? It is arises due to the closing of this both the wall. This both the wall means bicuspid wall as well as the tricuspid wall. This wall gets closed, and that closing of the wall just ignite the sound, and that sound is called as the lub. Now, the second sound is also there. Now, what is the second sound? First sound is the systolic sound, contraction sound. The second sound will be the relaxation sound, expansion sound, that is called as diastolic sound, which denote the beginning of the ventricular diastole. It denotes the beginning of the ventricular diastole. Now, ventricle getting relaxed. And this arises due to what? Due to the semilunar wall. This is the semilunar wall. This is the one semilunar wall. This is the second semilunar wall. When this semilunar wall get closed, both the semilunar wall get closed. That time the sound arises, and the sound is called as dub. D-U-B-B, dub. And this is the short time sound, just dub. That is the love, little bit long time sound, and this is the dub, D-U-B-B, dub. And this love and dub sound, both the sound can be heard with the help of the special instrument that is called as stethoscope, which doctors they are using for checking the heartbeat. So that will be with the help of stethoscope. In this way, the heartbeat is very important. What is the heartbeat? Rhythmic contraction and expansion of the heart is called the heartbeat. And what is the pulse? The rhythmic contraction of the heart is felt in certain areas of the body, just like a wrist, in the form of pulsation, that is called as the pulse. In this way, this topic we are just completing here, heartbeat and the pulse rate, and that we will now other topics are there that we will complete in our next videos. So just kindly like and share as well as subscribe the video. Thank you very much.